Alright, so while the headlight is in the oven warming up, I have no realistic expectation that this will work on the permaseal and that I'll probably end up having to cut it open. Now I can use my Dremel, but I'm going to try to use my hot knife that I have. I don't know, I just feel like with a hot knife it's a little more forgiving because it just melts stuff, it doesn't cut it away, so I could always push some plastic back if I melt too much. What you're looking at are the setup. These are the bi-LED projectors I'm using. I'm going to start off saying I know that these are not going to be as bright or as wide a light pattern as HID projectors. I simply chose to go with these because, I mean, where I live there's street lights everywhere. I don't need the brightest, widest light shining on the road. I also noticed that with a lot of the newer headlights in the vehicles, they're all going LED. So I'm going to make my headlights go all LED. Now, as to which projector I chose, I went with the DMEX E2 projector. Why? No idea really. I remember seeing a YouTube video where they compared these to the Morimoto MLEDs. I think it was Lightworks did a video on YouTube. These had a brighter light in the front, but no mention as to how wide the beam pattern was. Again, I live basically in a small city. There's lights everywhere. I don't need it. So this is my setup. I'm just going to walk you through it. The reason I went with the DMX, for one reason, is that these are all one unit. There's no external ballast, driver, whatever you want to call it. So basically everything is going to be self-contained inside the headlight. No more zip ties or drilling holes and mounting things in the engine bay. Everything's going in the headlight. Now, I will say that it has been told to me that you probably want to have as much outside the headlight as possible if something fails, so that you don't have to open the headlight. But it's my dream, my hope that everything works for years and I don't have to do that, at least not often. So let's walk through it. These are the projectors themselves. As I said, one unit. Basically, as far as the wiring goes, I did order some pigtails. These went on to the power and ground that powers the LED. This additional plug here, which I don't believe will connect in the ATS headlight, I'm gonna have to cut that off, and then I'm gonna cut the one off inside the headlight and mount it onto here. This is for the shield that goes up and down for your high beams. This black frame here going around the projector, that actually was a separate thing I bought. That's the mounting bracket so that the projector will mount into the headlight so you don't actually have to fabricate anything. I only found one place that did it, so that's the one I ordered. These here are the little plastic brackets that go inside the holes where the screws then attach to for mounting it, and being able to direct the light, once you get them mounted into the car, to make sure that they're pointed in the right direction. Now additionally, as you can see, I've got some halos here. These are 80mm Morimoto halo LEDs. These are going to be daytime running lights. Additionally, if you see this little wire here coming out this hole, there's an LED ring I mounted inside right behind the glass. That's also going to be white. I chose white for everything just because these are my daytime running lights. It's a safety thing. I want the brightest light possible. I hope it's a decent looking effect during the day. Obviously, I hope that it's noticeable. So I'm going to have the lighting inside the projector and also going around the projector. They call them halos and demon eyes or devil eyes, angel eyes, whatever eyes. So to walk you through it here, this plug here will go to the socket that normally plugged into the halogen light bulb in your headlight. It's a capacitor. This will get rid of the PWM, pulse width modulation, which is why the halogen is not as bright during the day versus full time at night, and also the reason why if you install an aftermarket HID kit that it flickers and you need to install these to get rid of that. So that plugs into here. This then connects to the Morimoto exchange driver. As you can see, there's a black, a white, and a yellow. Black is ground, or earth, whatever you want to call it. The white is the power. That is what is going to automatically go through this driver and come out the other side unimpeded. So as you can see, I have that, then go to this socket here, and I have that split. So one set of wires goes to the LED in the projector, the other set of wires goes to the halo. So that will be on during the day as soon as you start the car. Now, the yellow wire, that's the trigger wire, that I'm going to connect to the parking wire inside the headlight. So when the parking lights come on, the power then switches to the yellow and black. The yellow and black goes to this socket, which then powers the main light of the projector. And that's the setup. So white daytime running lights during the day, parking light comes on, when the power goes through here, it'll send it to the projector, and your regular low beams come on at night. And that's the setup. I'll go into additional bulbs that I'm going to be using for the parking light and the turn signal. That's all separate, but this is the main thing here. So right now the headlight is in the oven. It's warming up. Again, like I said, I have no expectation that it's going to work. The permaseal, I'm assuming, will not come undone, and I will be cutting these headlights open. So hopefully this little tutorial on how I wired up the daytime running lights and the projectors will help. Again, it is recommended normally to have a separate ballast not built into the projector. That way it's outside the headlight, and should it fail, you can replace it, blah, blah, blah. I'm going with everything internal, so that's just what I want. Additionally, these projectors, the DMEX, it was very nice. It came with a mounting kit full of these different sized washers, nuts, the wrench for the nuts to tighten them on. I will note that these brackets did not fit on the back of the projector. I was trying to see if I could get it flush, but I had to mount it in the front. The reason I couldn't get it flush on the front is because the projectors have these, right here, you can see these little screws with the head sticking up. So what I did was, with this kit that came with the projectors, I basically used one nut and I guess one washer, no, two washers. One nut, two washers on all four of the mounting points. And it basically goes flush. I just didn't want anything to bend, you know, if I was trying to tighten this down with these screws here with the head, in case it bent this or bent the shroud on the projector. So that's, you know, to me, you know, very important. And of course, test everything before you install it, just to make sure it works. Otherwise, you're wasting your time. Now, as far as the brackets themselves, and will they mount to your projector if you buy an aftermarket projector? I don't know. These things are pretty universal. They have a couple different mounting holes. You got a hole here, hole here, hole here. You know, additionally here and on that side as well. What I did was I actually ran the wire for the ring of the Demon Eye through that hole and then tied a knot on it on the back. That way I would ensure that the wire wouldn't come in contact with the projector itself, because I'm sure that gets pretty hot and I don't want to melt the wiring. So I did that on both the lights. Again, I just fed the wire through that extra mounting hole that I didn't use. These aftermarket projectors are all pretty universal. Obviously they got different holes in them for different mounts, but in this case I got real lucky. These projectors, these brackets, the holes line up perfectly, so it was good to go. All right, so next will be the matter of, will the permaseal come undone from being in the oven? If not, I'll get to cutting and I'll talk more about that in the next video.